What is up, PML? It's your boy, Vegas 22, coming in with Slick Butter. What's up, Slick?
What up, y'all? We're here. We're back. You know what it is.
All right, all right, all right. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining in on the PML PR rankings. Make sure you get and give a like and a subscribe to the channel if you want to continue to see us bring this week in and week out. None of this is ever possible with PML. Our weekly shout out to the man, Kim Jong Cody. Your Jags may suck, but you are still number one in our hearts. We're not going to hesitate, though, folks. We're going to dive right into this hot playoff race. And right now, we actually have a banger going on in Carolina. A live look into that Tampa Bay game. I'm sorry, the Carolina Tennessee game. Right now, we're looking, and it looks like Carolina just took the lead, 28-24, in the 28-24. Yep, in the final minute and a half. So we're going to look back there. I know Tennessee is fighting for their lives in that game. But playoff picture as a whole, what you kind of see is what you get going into Week 15. Slick, the Colts were still cream of the crop, up basically 2 games there. But everyone else still kind of fighting. The 2 seed still wide open in the North. It looks like the Jets probably have a stranglehold on the East, and the Chargers meant for yourself. But really, the playoff life of what people are looking for here is going to be what's going to happen with the I'm guessing 6-7 seed, right? 6-7 seed. Is that what you see here, my man?
Yes. Yeah, I think we've been thinking somebody's going to come in and take that 6 and 7 seed away from the NFC, but it hasn't changed since our last PR. So not too many weeks left for it to shake out.
Well, it looks like 6 seed is probably, I mean, really, maybe the top six are set, right? So the Ravens are at 9-5. If the Titans do lose, that'll put them 2 games back. They're not gonna catch the Ravens. It probably secures the Ravens. Let's take a quick peek at what's going on in this game as we're watching it. Oh wow, Tennessee's already driving, so we are giving a little bit of a look in here live. Since we're on stream, we don't hesitate. Tennessee with the 0-1 trap up the middle, they are driving. Slick, I don't know if you can see it on my stream or not, my man, but they are now 30 seconds. They still have 2 timeouts. Four down by 4. He's gonna have to throw this ball away. Oh, up the seam, up the right side, out of bounds. Okay, we're going to stay live here. We're going to stay live here in Carolina. 28-24, 19 seconds left, Slick. Are you able to actually see the game, or am I just kind of, are you just listening to my play-by-play
You-
here?
You're solo dolo. I'm
All
I'm
right, man.
listening to the
That's right.
play-by-play.
Well, we're just going to stay here for a second just because this is a big, big game. Carolina is in no threat of losing their realm and of domination really in the NFC with the other leaders in the NFC. But this is about the Tennessee Titans. We're talking about that number 7 seed, staying in play here. Tony Pollard up the gut. He has to burn the timeout. Probably a little bit of a safe call. Maybe tries to sneak one in there. He still has one timeout left. It is second down. Um, a little unexpected. I know PR pod, but we get a little late night PML or follow up action here. So it looks like we're going to go 4 wide. We got tight end. Oh, he's all over the tight end. He's going to have to step up. He's going to throw it to the back, and he's going to, a triple drop by the defense. Third down and 8 with 9 seconds to go in the game. Great defense there by TRC as he absolutely locked up the tight end, the superstar tight end for the Titans, who's probably been causing troubles for most of the game. We've got 9 seconds left before we're able to go back into our PR pod, but we got probably 2 plays left. They still have a timeout here. They want to run, they can. Up the spot and out of bounds. Only gets 1 foot down in the back of the end zone to Calvin Ridley. Oh man, he is right there. He's got 1 play left. Apparently, he can get a first down if he's short here at like the goal line. Still has the timeout, but this is where it comes down to. It comes down to this: getting a little bit of change at the goal line. Got a little cover 2 action on the outside, protecting the flats. Steps up and interception
Oh,
to end the game. Tennessee, and he's going to return it to the house. This is going to be a heartbreak. Oh, no, Chigo makes the
no,
play.
no.
Carolina wins 28-24. That puts the Tennessee Titans, as we're looking live at the channel here, that puts the Tennessee Titans at 7-7, which ties them with the Texans, and probably locks the Ravens into the 6th seed with only a couple games left. I guess they could lose out and not be there, but takeaways from that ending of that game right there. You know who's going to get that 7th seed? I think last week we talked about the Texans sneaking in. You still feel good about that even more so now, or do you think the Titans are going to hold on, or maybe the Bills or Dolphins can slide up?
Um, I'm gonna, Tennessee. He's sneaky. Apparently, I didn't think that would be a close game. I think that was kind of a well discussed thing in the league. But maybe he's just showing that he can do something. I'm looking at his schedule. He's got Colts, Bengals, and Chiefs to end it. So you never know. Bengals seem to have been taking a hit, but if he could end 2-1, there's a chance. There's a strong chance that we could see Tennessee in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, I think it's wide open. I think Echo is back. 7-7. There's 4 teams at within one game of that final playoff spot. It is wide open in the AFC playoff race. Anything else you want to add here? I think later in the week we might do maybe a special if we have some time to get together. But I think really this
Looking
week's gonna
looking at this now, I'm taking Texans after
taking the
looking at
Texans.
the schedule. I'm
What's the
taking
schedule look
Texans
like?
stealing this. 49ers, Colts, Broncos. So I'm thinking two and
49ers
I'm thinking 2-1,
okay.
and I think that gets them in.
2-1 gets them to 9 wins. What does the Titans have left?
That was Colts, Bengals, Chiefs.
Colts, Bengals,
So
Chiefs. So
eyes are
yeah,
on Joe. Eyes are
ooh,
on Joe here to end the
yeah, that
AFC
could be tough.
race.
That could be tough, right? So I mean, between those 2 teams, is there any way that goes undefeated in that rank? What about the Dolphins or the Bills?
I'm looking right now.
Just since we're on it, I mean, if you're just going
Bills,
based on
Bills
stuff,
going up against Splash. Jets, Browns have a hard time thinking that's
yeah, he's
possible.
not running the table there. So the Bills are out. What about the Dolphins?
We got Eagles, Patriots, Jets. So I
Eagles,
guess as far as
Patriots, Jets.
running the table, I would pick the Dolphins. But as far as just pure winning out, or at least putting themselves in a
Yeah.
good position, I'm picking Texans.
All right, so I think we're gonna say what I'm gonna roll with here is I'm gonna roll 1 seed Colts, 2 seed Browns, 3 seed Chargers, 4 seed Jets, 5 seed Bengals, 6 seed Ravens, 7 seed Texans. Which means if the Texans can upset old Lynchy Poo in round 1, we could get a Joe Echo divisional round matchup. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that makes me a little hard. That's exciting to think about, man. Sorry if I got you a little too sensitive there, but let's move forward. Let's dive in and take a look at the deep dive into the NFC. Sorry, folks, we're not going to get any live up to date moments of any new games going on here. I want to say that there was no action taken today in any of these games that actually mattered that were still pending, right? So Carolina wins. They're still basically 3 games back or 2 games back of the Falcons. The Cowboys win, but they're not even in relevancy. Was there anything else? And then the Raiders Broncos game, which doesn't mean anything here. So this is basically what we're looking at here. Talk to me. What do you see here? We got the Falcons 1 probably, right? So the Falcons are probably. I think the Falcons are locked into the 1 seed.
I believe so. Yep.
Right, and then the 2 seed's going to come down to the Commies and the Commies and the Cardinals. Did they play it all this year? Do you know?
I don't believe so. PML actually just live advanced. So I was just seeing if there's any changes to your graphic here, but not that I know of. But two great teams
Yeah.
playing their hearts out, trying to finish strong.
So we're looking probably. I mean, 2-3 is going to be the Commies and Cardinals going one way or the other. 4 seed is going to be the winner of the NFC North right now. That currently sits with the Bears. And then 5, 6, 7, we know basically the Panthers are probably going to come in at that 5th spot. They're now 2 games up on the Seahawks. They are all but locked in. barring a complete meltdown from somewhere. The Seahawks and Eagles are currently tied at 9-5 and have a 2-game lead over the Bucks, Giants, and Lions. So the Eagles had the biggest win probably this last week. Seahawks had a great week by getting a force win over the Eagles, which then put a lot of pressure on the Eagles as they had to head to New York. As the Giants said they were back and then proceeded to go 2-1 last week, which makes it a little bit tough. And one of those was against the Eagles. Now, the Giants do play the Eagles in Week 18. We got the tanking Vikings, which we'll discuss a little bit more later. This upcoming week, I forget who my Week 17 opponent is, but you know, Eagles, Seahawks, Bucks, who have been on fire. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Bucks, man? I mean, the Bucks
Yeah.
again came out and slopped around their opponent this past week again.
I mean, just when you thought you could count them out, making that deep run, and then kind of started the season off a little shaky, and then in the middle it looked like the bottom just fell off from underneath them. But making a resurgence towards the end is definitely not what I was expecting. I
Well,
don't
I
really
mean,
see
he
anything
hung
coming of that,
60. He
but
traded away his whole damn team and then hung 60 on the
right.
Texans as the Texans are fighting for their lives. Can we do a live look in at the schedule coming up for the Bucks? Because last week we didn't talk about the Bucks at all, right?
Not one bit.
Not one bit, because I think they went 3-0 last week. They went from 4-7 to 7-7, and they've really turned up the notch. And I think we need to talk a little bit about them, and then let's look at head to head here, right? Because the Bucks can get to 10 wins, so these three teams can all get to 10 wins. Seahawks, I think we kind of predicted they were only going to get one more win the rest of the way. Um, and
They
that
hurt. They hurt us. They hurt us for sure.
well, they got two. One was a force win, and the other one was
That's oh
jaw,
yeah, yeah.
right? So like, let's not get overabundantly excited here. I still think they probably win 9 games, and they probably finish 9-8 is still my prediction. Um, but
The Bucks got coming out of their bye week. Since week 10, they're 4-1. But
yep,
to end this stretch of impressive wins, uh, he got Cardinals, Saints, Patriots. So,
wow.
if he does
Hey,
another stunner and then, ends on a good note versus Saints and Patriots, you could see him closing out his schedule,
he
which would
could
be
easily go ten
impressive.
and seven. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the Bucks at 10-7. I don't know what his. We're not going to get into tiebreakers today, but 10-7, I can easily see him winning all three of those games. Now, listen, the Patriots have been playing better. They played another really close game this week as well. I can see him grabbing that. The Cardinals are still a little bit of an unknown. He did slap around a couple of good vets, but you never know what that's going to look like. Uh, Eagles have the Giants and who else in their final 2 weeks?
The Eagles, you're
Yeah,
saying?
Eagles, right? So the Seahawks again. I'm
Um,
predicting the Seahawks go 9-8.
Dolphins.
So
Eagles have Dolphins, Chargers, Giants.
yeah, so you need to do your job. Ron needs to not shit the bed, and the Giants need to handle business in Week 17 or Week 18, and we can kind of get it from there. That
Yeah,
being
the
said,
NFC picture looks a little more up in the air than the AFC. That's for sure.
well, I'm not gonna lie to you. The Eagles and the Seahawks grabbing a couple victories gave them those 2-game lead. It's going to come down to a tie-breaking mess, is what it's going to come down to. There's going to be someone that's going to get left out in the cold. But we shall see how that works out. Anything else you kind of? So I think predictions, right? So Falcons 1. Let's just say Commies 2, Cardinals 3, Bears 4, Panthers 5. I'm gonna go. Oh man, like it's a crapshoot, dude. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I want to literally blow this whole thing up. I want to go Bucks Giants, but I just don't know the tiebreakers. You know what I'm saying? Like I see the
Right.
Bucks getting 10 wins. I see the Seahawks falling off. So for sanctity here, I'm gonna go Eagles 6, Bucks 7. And the Seahawks fall out based on a previous prediction, and the Giants have to sleep in their own mess that they made, losing to some very, very, very poor owners,
I'll try
I
to
will
help out
think.
my pod mate and do what I can, but I'm gonna go Seahawks Giants.
Yeah,
Feeling
I mean
good.
the Eagles, the loss to the Eagles really changed a lot, and we shall see it again. So we'll see. The Eagles need to lose some games, and I just don't know if they're going to lose enough. So we shall see. Diving in, right? So let's talk a little bit about what we got going on. Last week, I think we introduced turnovers, to the whole setup, and I wanted to be able to kind of move forward with that as well. And I kind of did a little bit of a change here, so you guys see a little more colors. Hopefully, it's a little bigger. Who's causing problems, right? So same names up here. The Eagles made a nice big jump this week. I don't know if you see that. That was because they got the fun of playing the Giants as they turned the ball over 5 times. Um, but yeah, anything here? Looking at the big screen here, looking at one nice big page. Anything you want to talk about?
Well, these are just the teams you'd expect to see, and the Cardinals. We all thought we'd wonder, what is this new user going to do? Pretty sweet to see him, stay consistent with what he inherited. But yeah, I think the one that if I had to pick one odd man out or one that I'm maybe not surprised to see, but the newly is the Eagles. But that's the benefit of playing the Giants, I guess, these
Yeah,
days.
it
But
is, man. Because on this very next page, you're going to see it, right? So the Giants, I want to say, were like second or third last week. They actually did move down to fourth here, which is not terrible. That's because we forced some turnovers against the Bills and then gave them all back to the Eagles. Ja still on a record pace, man. Ja, brother, and got his first suspension of the season. Cody,
surprising.
the sad part is here we have 3 admins on this page. That's quite sad, to be honest with you. I think we're all supposed to be pretty decent players. Um, Cody, you might want to turn on conservative carry, maybe. Uh, but hey, but you know what? They're also recovering fumbles, so that's not too bad. Um, Listen, it says it right there in the thing. Who is the problem? The users on this page are the problem. Some do it on purpose, cannoli, and others just aren't very good. The rest of us. So moving right along, let's talk a little bit about some offensive team leads, man. Take talk to me here, boss. What do you see?
Again, kind of goes with the theme. These powerhouses have been here all season long, as far as I guess on both sides of the scoring on the top, yardage on the bottom. Look, TRC just doing numbers with that Panther squad and his rookie wide receiver, who maybe locked up MVP potentially. Um, Lynch is never out. Definitely taking a few losses, but never out. And then, like I said, you got those powerhouse teams on the scoring. You can't afford to be giving up, the ball to them, and you got to be on your A game when you're on defense. Um, and then they kind of go hand in hand, really.
Yeah, what's crazy to me is like, I mean, TRC at 47.8 points per game, right, leading the league. He only has 199 first downs. Like, I didn't sort that, but I'm willing to bet you that is very much middle of the road. You can see on that same thing there, you got 247 for the Colts, 244 for the Browns. Like, it's just very much a different way of playing, which is why it's quite impressive the Titans were able to hold them to 28 points, and literally it took an interception at the end of the game to hold them off. So testament to BTG, as he's trying to do work with the Titans, as we talked about them a little bit earlier. Rolling forward, let's talk a little bit about some defense. You know, uh,
What are you seeing here?
Listen, it's the Ravens last week were there. They are still the number one scoring defense in the league. Splash, no surprise. His user skills with Troy Henderson have been tremendous. He's got some really good big talent at safety with Simmons and Bates, and that team has been a big problem. And his newly re-rolled Duke Orenro, whatever his damn name is, that big fucker down the middle. He's definitely causing some problems up front. He's got 33 sacks, which is a really strong number, forcing a lot of interceptions. I'm sorry, 36 sacks, forcing 42 turnovers. But look at the fumbles, man. Look at the fumbles caused is 9. Like that's double anybody else on this page. In regards to yardage, and I didn't really put the correlation to turnovers, right? Because the Seahawks weren't high up in turnovers, so it wasn't a lack of short fields. But only 4,071 yards for the Seahawks, and they have. I mean, of course, at this point, all the buys are through. That's actually, if you're wondering, maybe why Wisco's in the playoff race this year. He's already won 2 more games than he did last season, as he won the division at a 7-10 record. Um, but it's you look at this, the Seahawks, Falcons, Texans, Giants. I mean, those are teams. The Giants is definitely more a testament to turning the ball over is why their defense is probably better. Is just simply because they don't play a lot of defense because they just give up a lot of points. Let's take a look at some leaders, man. We got just basically 1 week left. We can take a look at some leaders here. Top three in each category. I think you talked about Mr. Woodson. Is that right? You talked about Mr. Woodson. Now, again, this did not include tonight's game, as this information was already pulled, so I haven't seen his stats yet. But 54 catches, 2,500 yards. Guy's averaging 50 yards a touch. He scores on 75% of his touches, which is just
On demand.
it's just fucking stupid. But Jamison Williams definitely has been fed the ball a lot more. I applaud Sorcery, his ability to get the ball to JMO in many different ways. The surprising person here to kind of make his way up is Christian Watson. If you've watched the Packers play at all recently, and I know I had played them myself, and I've again doing the highlight clips the last few weeks, you're going to see a lot of Jordan Love to Christian Watson, and no surprise, Jordan Love is now number 2 in the league in passing. Christian Watson's number 3 in the league in receiving. But again, the leaders in our league are the people that are on this page: Watson, Richardson, Bijan, Braylon Allen, again leading the physical charge over there. And then you take a look, of course, the big time receivers. Talk to me a little bit about I'm looking for anybody from your division here. You guys just not play offense or defense there? Like, what's going on? But
Yeah, pretty
again,
middle of the pack. And actually, I was almost rubbing my eyes. Woodson, in his most recent game that just ended, he only got about 50 yards,
interesting,
no
interesting.
touchdowns.
So,
But keep in mind, folks, Jameson Williams is suspended for the following game. So look for
oh,
Woodson to really maybe put a gap there. Christian Watson and the Packers connection's been great, but making up about 300 yards in 3 games might be difficult. Um, yeah, but it is, the Packers, I don't watch them too much, but I did not know they were that pass heavy. I don't think they've been that pass heavy in the future, so that's definitely surprising to see.
yeah, I think the
Um,
rumor there is he just said, "Listen, I need to get some devs on Jordan Love. I'm not winning anything anyway, so let me throw the ball up and see what happens." I think that's kind of what the philosophy has been recently. And to his point, listen, if he's able to get there, he's got 48 touchdowns. He's second in the league in yards. We shall see where he finishes. Um, but if he
Lad
gets the
Lad
devs,
McConkey is fourth in receiving in the league, but I will
oh.
say that there is 700 yards more to get on this list. So
I don't think you're going to get there, brother. Just,
no, I do not.
just to throw it out to you. All right, man. Well, listen. The reason why we're actually all here tonight, of course, is again to talk about some PRs. We've talked a little bit about some of the other playoff races and some stats and things like that. But I'm gonna let you take the lead here on the bottom of the barrel, and then I'm actually gonna wipe up. I'll talk a little bit about 31 and 32, but I'll let you start.
All right. Well, we do have some shakeups here. For the first time all season, you do not see the Rams at 32. Again, Vegas will tell you why if you are unaware. But here we got some shames on the bottom, followed by Ja, Kobe, Eric. Eric could be a deadly team, but it just seems like he has not put in the work this season. But still, with Xavier Worthy, you always got to watch out. The Raiders, Doggy Bone, where have you been? You almost stunned me and Tiger and have not pulled out as many wins as I maybe thought you would. And then the Bills playing without Josh Allen. This is where that gets you. And T Tram. Holy shit, man. You got to figure it out. This is not a good list to be on. So you got to step it up. And then I'll lead that into Vegas. You can tell the league why we have new spots for 31 and 32.
Yeah. So before I get there, Doggy Bone, listen, he fell 3 spots this last week. He beat the brakes off of me and then proceeded to lose to the Cowboys. And that's just not a good look. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And so you're back at the bottom page. Looks like Strawberry took another forced loss today due to his internet. I guess I don't even know where he lives, but Just shit luck, I guess. Um, that being said, you can see 32 is our homie Rye, who's coming out. He's been doing some great content work. I love the fact he takes pride in his team and those types of things. We've got the Master Mamba, Mr. Cannoli, who does actually play his games, shows up on time, and does those things. However, you two are on the bottom of the list, and you'll probably live here for the rest of the season. Next year will be a new season, and you'll be able to come back out. You guys will be starting from behind. As if you're unaware, there is a 3-game suspension for each of you, for each of these teams, as for integrity detriment to the league. Um, Simply put, listen, it's okay to tank. I mean, hell, the Sixers did it blatantly for how long in the NBA? The Bears basically do it year in and year out, deliberately or not. And my Giants, we don't actually just don't tank right. We just win just enough. And but unfortunately, there's just better ways to hide it. And punting on first down, taking safeties to lose games, and trying to say it's about the other person, this, that, and the other. It's just not a good look. It's just not what we want to do. Missed field goals. You can't. I put it this way. I was talking to another admin who actually approached me on this before I really even got involved, and I said, listen, if you want to tank, the way you tank is you run, 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 punt, and you just don't score. The problem is people don't want to not score. People want to be able to get offense. People want to be able to do certain things. They want to be able to get their stats. They want to be able to get devs and all these things that in the end they want to lose so they can get a better draft pick. And again, Rye did it from a standpoint of he didn't want Cannoli to get the tank and so on, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Listen, in the end, it's not a good look. It's just not what we want to do here. There are zero hard feelings, but just take this as a um, forewarning to others that if you do anything that can potentially hurt devs, i.e., taking sacks, deliberately throwing interceptions, running away in situations where it doesn't make sense, if that makes any sense. It's going to land you here, and it's going to land you with the suspension. I think 3 games each is what they got. There was talk about more, there was talk about less, there was talk about splitting it up, who did what worse. In the end, this is where we landed, and those players are to be determined based on who's on their roster next year. Since I've got you here, I think you were a little bit involved in those guys. Do you have any questions for myself or any of the other admins regarding the suspension, Slick?
Um, having an out tanking a thon, whatever you want to call it, it's something I've never seen in my PML tender. But to be honest, I think they got off light. But
Yep.
being the new admin, I'm not going to throw down the hammer, and that's definitely not my say. And that's the commissioner's decision. But I think 3 games is light. So this is definitely not where you want to find yourself, especially with a league-wide warning, because not only will you be on the bottom of the PRs, but it seems like you will get quite the hammer for the future. So
Yep.
big no-no.
All right. On a happier note, let's talk a little bit about the next group of teams. Again, these are the guys that really, I think, on this page right now. So the Vikings, the Bucks, right, are right there at 17. We just talked about how I think the Bucks can sneak in, right? And you got to remember, they only got to get to 14. Like the top 14 teams really get in. The Packers have really stepped back. Again, I think that just has to do with their current strategy. I think we already said the AFC is pretty much set. I just don't think the Lions can win out while everyone else loses around them. So I don't think they're going to get there. Breakneck moves his way up. He's been playing really competitive football in New England. Audric Estime continues to pound the rock, doing a great job out there. I think he had another really strong week this week. Yeah, I mean, those are my standouts for me. Everyone else is kind of up and down. Anybody you want to just kind of dial in on and talk about here before I let you take on the next page? Are you muted? I think I may have lost you.
Nope, nope, nope. I was just say 17 through 20. You could see any of those guys win or get in. So they can move on to that next page, and all it takes is 14. So look alive for that.
Okay. Well, simply put, man, a few words on the average bracket. So then these are the guys that are basically right there. So half these teams will probably be in, half these teams will probably be out. Jake's going to get in, Carter's going to get in. I mean, don't get me wrong, Legacy could maybe that NFC North can really shake things up, but at this point, I think it's really down to the Lions getting there, and I just don't think the Lions can win enough. So it's probably the Bears division. The Jets are in. I mean, those bottom 4 teams, right? So the bottom half. Who the hell knows? I mean, two of them are going to get in, and two of them probably aren't. The Giants got their work cut out for them. I think the Texans are going to sneak in over the Titans based on what we talked about earlier, and I still think the Wisconsin finest, Big Curtis, who finally got his streams updated and saving, um, I do think he's going to fall out and miss that 7 seed. He's been hanging on tight. He's holding on strong. Um, but I don't think he's going to get there, man. I just don't. Did you play anybody recently on this list? Was it the Jets that you just recently played, or was there anybody else here that you just recently played up against? Maybe I'm just thinking outside the realm here. I don't know.
I actually have not played any of these folks recently. Not a single one on the list, but we've talked about it really just to go bottom to top. Echo's back. You never know. I mean, he did just take an L to the Bucks, but he is back, so we'll see what that comes. The Giants,
And he scored
dark horse.
53 though, like right. So like it wasn't for lack of
Right.
lack of offense. He just couldn't get a stop apparently.
Giants, you can't really rule him out. I've seen him in the top 5 most of my time here. Titans going right up there with TRC. Very impressive, locking down the number 1 receiver, or in this case, number 1 receiver in the league. Wisco, taking that forced win and playing Ja, kept him on this list, and then you start to get into your, we've been here category. So
I'll tell you
that's all.
that. Jake had a really good run, and then just kind of made a mess in his pants a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, Lost to the Browns, lost to the Cardinals. Um, I think he has another loss in there somewhere else. Someone else. Like I think at one point he was 9-1. He's now 10-4. I look forward to seeing the Bengals turn it around. He's gonna finish at least second in that division. I think he still has an outside shot. I think he loses the tiebreaker to Lynchy Poo. But yeah. So which leaves us really to our top 8 this week. We're gonna do all in one big panel. Um, Last week was the week of the Joes, right? So we had Splash taking on the Colts and the Commanders, and Splash won both those games. Hence why he is the number 1 team back on the top of the bracket. He's going to probably live there until the playoffs come, at which point he needs to figure it out. I'm looking forward to potentially that 1-5 matchup in the second round of that division there. I think I just kind of previewed a little bit of Joe. Joe's been Mr. Consistency. I think he may have the highest winning percentage in all of PML's history with over 100 games played. Um, and Tiger, if he can just avoid a fair sim loss, a splash, and then a couple L's to some other New York team, I mean, he's right there. So Lynch is the defending champion. Um, the Cardinals really are the surprise team here, as they are not talked about enough. They went over. They had an ownership change. The Eagles slide up to 8. That's a big jump for the Eagles, considering they were kind of middle, 12 or 9 to 13, something like that. So moving up to 8 on this first page, I'll tell you just to talk a little bit about having played him this last week was I was absolutely clueless on defense. It was one of those games where I got zero pressure. I was able to move the ball pretty well, turned it over, but when I tell you that if he wanted a first down, he got a first down, and if he plays like that and doesn't turn the ball over, I think he can beat anybody, especially that team. That team is really good, really, really good. Slick, you continue to work your way up, man. You were 0-1 at one point in time, but you've continued to work your way up this list with really not a ton of talent. I did see you got a nice reroll today. You got an upgrade. Talk to me a little bit about what your strategy is as you continue to upgrade your team in Los Angeles.
I started the season 1-3. 1-3 to start the season. So, that just goes into touching base on, it's never an excuse to tank. Tiger said that earlier as well. You never know how it's going to shake out. I started the season taking an L to the Giants, the Chiefs. Then I went in and beat Joe, took an L to Echo. So you never know how your season's going to roll out. But
Hey, that is a
recently I
brutal
was,
stretch to start. Hey, you started Vegas, Joe,
sorry,
Echo,
Vegas,
and Eric.
No,
Jesus.
Eric, yeah, you, Eric, Colts, Texans, and Eric was, coming into the season hot, very active. I just couldn't stop Xavier Worthy, lost by 3 there, but you know, It could have very well been 0-4, but they kind of went on a hot streak and then recently lost to Tiger. And when you were talking about the Eagles, it kind of reminded me of our game where it didn't matter who was out there or what I was doing. His offense was moving at will. So that's definitely not a team you want to match up in the NFC, especially as, like, let's just say a 3 seed. If he falls to a 3 seed, that's disrespectful and that'd be crazy. But no, we got blessed with a good re-roll over here in LA, and we're just trying to ramp up. Got Dev on a rookie tight end, just trying to build this team, see what we got. Really, just kind of playing it by ear and taking what the old John Madden gives me. So, and just trying to do my best. So,
All right, man. I don't know if we're gonna have a show before the playoffs kind of kick in. My guess is we'll have playoffs probably start this weekend, so we should have a show for everyone next Monday. So I think we'll probably just do, instead of doing a PR, what we'll probably do is we'll probably do a playoff preview. What do you think? Does that sound good to you? Maybe just pull up the bracket, do some predictions round by round, and go through it. What do you think? Sound good?
yeah, maybe like a full season recap, and then by that time, I'm sure a few games will get played. So we'll just kind of do a
Hey,
yeah,
you
maybe
said
a
a
round
full
by
season.
round
You know
or
how long it takes to build these damn things? A full season recap. You lost your damn mind. I'll make you a deal. You build the graphics and I'll do the talking. Sound good?
that sounds good.
I think we'll dive into really kind of final predictions. Here is your final bracket coming up for you guys. Eagles slide up, Cardinals keep moving, Bengals come down, Bucks on the prowl, Texans on the prowl, maybe sneak in, cause some problems. I mean, if the Texans can slide in, listen, they've played Splash a couple of times already. They've played TRC a couple of times already. So they're, 3 teams in the South potentially getting in. Could cause some issues there. I don't know, man. I think outside of really the top 2 guys in the league who have just really just run wreck shot of everybody, and I think there's been a lot of balance, and that's one thing I'll tell you that looking at the 6 and 7 seeds basically being up for grabs, specifically the 7 seed in both leagues or both conferences really shows some of the balance that we've had. And again, 31, number 28 can easily move up. Um, moving forward. I mean, the Dolphins were a playoff team last season. They're way down, so there's been a lot of movement this year. Um, but before we dive into reflections for the week and for the upcoming piece, any takeaways? Lastly, on this page, did we screw up anywhere here? Like when you look at this, did you say, I think we screwed that one up? No, feel good.
I probably would have put the Vikings at 32, but Rye did out tank him. Looking back on that and after talking about that, that was the main takeaway from that. But it's testament to PML. We're all here to have fun. We all have lives, but this is a competitive league, and it changes year to year, with the exception of a few on the top and the bottom. So it's exciting to see. I'm excited to see how it shakes out, and the tiebreakers could get messy.
All right, all right. Well, which kind of just leads us to reflections. My big takeaway this week of going through this was simply we're here to play the game. We're here to have fun. But listen, guys, we're here to compete and we're here to play and to win and try. If you're not willing to try and win, this isn't the league for you. And I'll kind of leave it at that, and I'll pass it to you, Slick.
My number one reflection has got to be probably the Cardinals with the ownership change and not falling off. So kudos to him, and looking forward to everybody getting live in the playoffs. And I think we're going to see some new emerging beasts, and it may not be Joe versus Splash.
All right, fellas. Well, once again, this is your boy Vegas with the homie Slick. These were your PRs for week 14, 15. We will catch you on the flip side. We'll see you when you see you.
Peace.